It's me, Ya Hughes, your favorite purpose cultivator, coming to you today just to talk to you a little bit about the 5 questions I asked myself when I went on a solo trip to Charleston, South Carolina. If you don't know, or if you haven't seen the video before this, you want to go back and review that video of my experience with Charleston, what I did, how much fun I had, why I went on a solo trip. But now I want to share with you the things that I've learned about myself on this trip and the 5 questions I asked myself so that I can reflect and really see how I've grown, right? So I went on this solo trip just because I just turned 40 and I wanted to commemorate and celebrate a decade of transformation, a decade of healing, a decade of wholeness. And if you don't know anything about my story and who I am an emotional wholeness specialist and coach. What does that mean? I help women all across the world manage their emotions, right? Shift their mindsets and really activate their purpose so that they can live a life that is freeing, that is purposeful, and that they can be everything that God intended for them to be, because the only thing that's stopping you is how you manage your emotions: fear, doubt, rejection, your thoughts, all of those things, right? So when we have better relationships with our emotions and we manage them and don't allow for them to manage us, we limit the amount of excuses we have. We begin to play full out. We begin to show up in a bolder and a better and a braver and a more confident way. And then we begin to say yes to all the things that God designed for us. So for me, growing up, I didn't have a good relationship with myself and with my emotions and with my thoughts. Hence, I spent so many years living in fear, living in rejection, and listening to pain. And I spent my 30s getting out of that place and activating my purpose and doing the work and making decisions to be better, to be healed, to be whole, and to say yes to all that God was doing in my life. So I wanted to take some time to just reflect on the other side, right? We always want to get to the other side. We want to get out of that situation. We want to get out of that circumstances. We don't want to be in pain any longer. And then after we get there, we just kind of go. Well, I spent so much time doing the work to get on the other side that it's time for me to enjoy the fruits of my labor and all that this side means, operating in purpose and no longer in pain and all of that. So I took a trip for 4 days and I just spent the time with me. I did not just lock myself in a hotel room. I went out, I enjoyed, I explored, but every morning and every night when I got up, I prayed, I took my journal out, and I asked myself one question, right? And I began to answer those questions. And in the morning and in the evening, I would take my journal with me to lunch or all of that, just so that I could begin to ask myself and just answer and just sit with who I am. So I'm going to tell you the questions first, and then I am going to tell you some of the things that I've learned about myself. So one of the questions I had was, what am I feeling in this very moment, right? What does this moment mean to me to be 40, to be on my first ever solo trip? What am I feeling, and what are my thoughts behind everything, right, that has happened? So then the second question I had for myself was, because I had a lot of notes, right? How has the view of me changed, right? How do I view myself now as opposed to what I did years ago, right? Has my views changed? Do I still see me from the lens that I did before? How has my view changed, right? So then I asked myself, what do I wish to achieve over this next decade? Wait, before that, it was how has this last decade been instrumental in my life? So how has this last decade been instrumental in my life? How has the view of me changed? And what am I feeling in this very moment? And then the fourth one was, what do I wish to achieve over the next decade, right? So what is it that I would like to achieve over the next decade. And then I asked myself, what no longer serves me and how has my values changed? What no longer serves me and how has my values changed? So these were the 5 questions that I asked myself on this trip. And some of those questions led to other questions and other things, but these were the top questions that I asked myself. I didn't Google or, search those. These were really just things that I wanted to know. And I prepared these questions prior to, and I was thinking about them leading up to turning 40, but I didn't get an opportunity to really focus in, and I knew that I wanted to save that for my trip. So I did. So some of the things that I've learned about myself, or how I was feeling in that moment, I put that, and I'll share some of it with you. So I put, I'm feeling, right now, so I put, right now I'm a little sad because I had just got off a phone call with my best friend and my daughter wasn't doing well. Right? So in that moment, I had a little bit of mom guilt and all of that, but I soon kind of snapped out of that. But besides that, I put that I'm very happy where I am emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And if I had to give myself one word, right, for where I am right now and in this moment, I put emerging, right? I put that I am emerging, and emerging means to come into being through evolution, to rise from an obscure or an inferior position or condition. So I do believe that I'm coming into my true purpose, right? I know what it is, and now I am okay with operating in it. I don't have any imposter syndrome. I'm not worried about whether this is where I'm supposed to be. Am I doing it right? I am at this place that I am in full metamorphosis, that I am actually that butterfly, and I am out here emerging, and it feels great. So that's what I put right now in this moment, right? That I am emerging and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. I am grateful for the healing and for the wholeness and all that this moment means and how it is reflective and indicative of what's going to happen and how we're going to move forward. It says, currently I'm sitting in a hotel lobby listening to Yes by Shekinah Glory, which is one of my favorite gospel songs. Everything leading up to this moment started with a yes. Yes to going away to college. Yes to surrendering to God fully. Yes to healing. Yes to learning new ways of being, right? And when I say it was yes to going away to college, I share in my first book, Made Whole, A Woman's Journey from Painful to Purposeful, about how going away to college and the catalyst for me getting the healing that I need, and what led me up to going away to college and really saying yes to a better life. So if you want that full story, I would say go ahead and grab your copy of Made Whole, A Woman's Journey from Painful to Powerful. It is on Amazon as well as it is on my website. But so saying yes to going away to college was my first yes, right? And then that led up to the series of yes, right? And when I say yes, it's saying yes to a better life, saying yes to doing the work, saying yes to not staying in your circumstance anymore, saying yes to going afraid. So saying yes, right? That was the beginning for me. And it says, I said yes to healing, to learning new ways of being, yes to me, yes to sharing my purpose with the world, yes to growth, yes to change, to becoming uncomfortable, to unlearning. Let me put a pin right here because this kind of leads me into my next, right? So one of the things that I think was pivotal, and one of the things that I've learned in my previous decade from 30 to now, was there was a lot of things that I needed to unlearn to be able to fully thrive in purpose and in what God designed for me, because my pain taught me this, right? My parents taught me this, right? All of these things out of survival and out of necessity, I learned to do things that aren't instrumental or effective on this side. So I had to begin to unlearn ways of thinking, of ways of doing things, and it was a lot of work to unlearn, right? Imagine there's something that you've been doing for 10, 15 years, whether it's the way you think, the way you respond to stuff, whatever that is, and it's not healthy or it's not what you're supposed to be doing. And every time you go to do it, you gotta tell yourself you can't do that anymore. So unlearning was key and pivotal to me growing. And even this past year, there were some things that I subscribed to that I no longer wanted to do. There were things that I knew that were not good. And you know, that whole it is what it is and this is just who I am, flaws and all. Yes, we are all flawed humans, but there are things that you are doing to stunt your own growth. You're worried about what other people have done to you. You're worried about how people mistreat you and how the haters and all of that stuff. Listen, you are your biggest competition. You are your biggest threat. The reason why you aren't where you are is because you are the weapon that formed against you. I was the weapon that formed against me with the way that I thought, with my actions, with my fear, with all of those things. So there was a lot that I needed to unlearn, right? So it started with me saying yes. And how has the view of me changed? So I would say the view of me changed because I knew that I was incredible, right? I knew that I was different. I knew that I had this amazingness about me, but I didn't believe it, right? So it's like you knew something, but you just didn't really believe that it was just all that great. Now, I'm not saying it in a sense of conceit or anything, but I do, right? I had to begin to believe that I belong in the spaces that I'm in and I add value and that I'm great and that nobody can do it the way that I do it. Because things came naturally to me, I just thought that everybody was doing it, right? Everybody's not putting together a speech like this. Everybody hasn't been speaking since the 4th grade, right? That's literally 9 years old, like in front of people. Everybody is not doing X, Y, and Z. Everybody don't get this same revelation and can create curriculums and courses and all of that like in their sleep. So because it came natural to me and I thought that everybody was doing it, I discounted who I was, right? So I put here, I knew that I was incredible. I knew that I had a way with people, with words, and with making things relatable. I've been doing it my whole life, but I didn't know that it was a rare skill, right? Like legit thought that this was normal. So seeing myself as an expert or having the juice or the secret sauce is something new. But I am in a space of owning my brilliance, and it has caused me to have a new view of me. So I believe that all of that just says that I've come to appreciate the beauty in who I am, the boldness, my loudness, my always being positive Patty, me always seeing the better side of things, me loving people a little bit, more, or me trying to work through things, and me always, I answer the phone at work. It's always a great day. It's a great day in the College of Business, and people are like, is it always a great day? For me, it is. Why? Because I've lived too many years in pain that I am now going to live in positivity. I'm not living in darkness, and I'm not pretending. I'm not doing any of that. Every single day I wake up and I'm excited and I'm happy, and I look at the glass half full. I look at like, let's just drink it, right? Like, and refuel the glass. We're not worried about anything else. So owning that part of me and owning who I am and always looking for the lesson and stuff, and that's just who I am, and I'm okay with that. So I look at myself from a different lens now. I trust myself a little more with making decisions, and I am, pivotal in walking through this next season. And I believe that my view of me has changed tremendously. I see all that I am and all that God has created and all that He's done in my life, right? I know that I add value to relationships. I know that I add to environment. I no longer apologize, right? So that leads me to the next thing, that I don't have to ask for permission to do and be anything, right? I show up because I belong here, and this is the space that I am in. I'm not waiting for you to invite me in the door. I'm coming in, I'm sitting at the table, right? I'm unapologetically being me, and whatever that is for me, right? So these are the things that I've learned, right? So what do I wish to achieve over the next decade, right? It's a long list, but some of the things that I am going to achieve is that I am going to thrive as a speaker, as an author, all of that, right? And I am going to live my life on purpose and with purpose, right? I am going to cultivate thousands of women on a regular basis. I'm going to have spaces where people can get healed emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically, and it's going to be beyond the four walls of the church. That is what I am looking forward to. I am looking forward to traveling the world. I am looking forward to making memories with my family, but most importantly, I am looking forward to continuously doing the work to evolve, to emerge, and to be better at who I am and where I am going. So I put, here's to living in your own freedom and truth, right? So, and then on the next page I put, I'm just a girl who decided to take a chance on a new life of healing, a new life of freedom, and a new life of wholeness. And I think that for all of us, things happen in our lives, and we have these pivotal and we have these instrumental moments that we begin to reflect, and we begin to look at who we are, how we show up in the world. Are we pleased with the way that we show up in the world? What is it that we want to change about ourselves? What is it that we want to do differently? What is it that I want to keep doing? And how do I want to show up in spaces and places? And what legacy would I like to leave? And what legacy would I like to live while I'm here on earth? What do I want people to say about me today? Not once I die, and not under a caption and all of that, but what is it that I want to be honored and be proud of myself? So this trip and this moment and this reflection was all about what is it that Yah needed, what is it that she wanted, and how has she evolved and emerged and progressed over the years, and what does that look like, right? So this was what I reflected on the trip. And when I left very proud of me, very proud of who I am and the decisions that I've made. I don't have any regret, right? And I'm just so grateful. So the solo trip, wow, Charleston was amazing. I think that it did so much more for who I am, and it fed my spirit and my soul, and the reflection questions were pivotal and catapulting me to this next season and this next level. And I am super excited to show up in a bigger and bolder way. If you've been following me, listen, if you've been following me since 2015 to now, you see the evolution. If you've known me, right, since college, since childhood, you see the progression, you see the difference. But what I'm telling you is this new Yah, this 40 and older Yah, this I am getting this purpose thing down, and I've said yes, and I'm no longer apologizing. I'm no longer asking for permission. Baby, y'all better get ready, because I'm taking everybody with me that wants to be healed, that wants to be whole, that is ready to be courageous, that's ready to be brave. But listen, I ain't gonna coerce you. I'm not gonna drag you. I'm going and I'm showing up unapologetically. And every place and space that I'm going to, I'm going to challenge you to do the same. But if you ain't going, I'm going to the next place. But I'm excited about where I'm going. And I implore each of you to take some time to do some self-reflection of what it is that you desire, what it is that's working well, what do you want, you right, in the next decade, in the next season, all of that, whatever it is that you, however you coin that phrase or whatever, I want for you to really be intentional about where you're going and being reflective about what you need and how you're going to give yourself those things. So thank you guys for tuning in to my YouTube channel. I'll be bringing more life lessons and learning along the way. Here's to cultivating you to live a life of purpose and intention. Have an amazing day, evening, night, or good morning.